Hey guys, this is part 3 of BMV Thinking the Mission. So what this is talks about, why I served a mission and what's it like to be a missionary. Um, so back to where I was talking about the Peruvian MTC. Um, it was awesome. We slept on bunk beds. I remember food was delicious. We played lots of soccer. Oh, one of the coolest things we did, right? Okay, so we did what was it was like what we'd call a blitz, right? Where we went to a certain area near the MTC, and we went out with members, right? And we went and visited less active members of the church, right? So at this point, I knew about this much Spanish. About this much. Right? I thought I knew, enough, but I didn't know squat. Okay? I just remember going out, smiling as much as I could, and, just giving a basic testimony of what I felt. I used my best. I used my words to the best of my ability, to talk to these members and tell them how I felt about the church. And I remember it was crazy because this is the first time I have actually been out in Peru. Like, I was in a compound, The missionary training center is like closed off to the world, It's not like you can go out, and do whatever you want. It's not like that. So, you're there 24/7, But we went out, right, to this area, and I remember, I think I visited 3 families. If I remember correctly, we visited 3 families, right? And I remember the first one went really good. We were talking to this old lady, and it was awesome. And the other one I don't really remember. I'd have to go back to my journal. But I remember the last one the most, right? It was this woman. She must have been in her 20s, and she had a little daughter. I think her daughter was like 3 or 4 years old, right? And her husband. I'm not sure if her husband was there or not, but I remember we went inside her house, her humble house, and I remember sharing. I had Spanish scriptures, right? And I remember previously marking a scripture, and I felt so inspired to share this scripture with her, And I read it, in my gringo accent, and she was really happy. And I remember my companion was talking to her, and then she started to cry, and I don't really remember why she was crying because I couldn't speak very good Spanish, but I'm sure she felt touched by the Spirit, and she felt that God was there, Anyways, and I remember her daughter, her sweet, young, beautiful daughter came up to me, and when we were leaving, she gave me a little candy. It was chicha morada candy, right? So it's like this purple little hard candy. It was really good. I still have the wrapper from it. I put it in my journal. And that was my first real missionary experience in the Peruvian missionary field, you could say, right? And I just remember walking on the streets, man. There was dog poop everywhere, okay? I'm not used to a foreign country. Man, there's dog poop everywhere. I think I stepped in dog poop like 3 times, right? There's a crap load of stairs there in Peru. I don't know how many flights of stairs we walked up and down that day. They're painted yellow, and man, they go on for miles, it seems like. yeah, that was a super fun experience. We were only out for like one day, and then we rode the bus back. To the MTC. Then I remember, okay, so that's pretty much it for the Peruvian MTC. I remember one apostle came and talked to us there, and we had a blast. And I got a lot from that message, and I wrote it down in my journal. I remember I had two companions in the Peruvian MTC. One was from Argentina, and one was from Peru. The one from Argentina spoke really good English, man, and me and him got along good. And then the one from Peru, I didn't understand anything he was saying. Till the end of, before I got transferred out, then I started to get, me and him, we developed this way of communicating, because he was learning English and I was learning Spanish, and it kind of worked out. And we could communicate. So, anyways, my first transfer, right, out of the MTC, I get transferred to, so, if I remember correctly, how did transfers go? I think we're in this culture hall, right, this big opening, where a whole bunch of seats are. And they just called their names out and said, hey, you're going here. Here's your companion. Right? And so, pretty much that's what happened. Everybody, we watch all our buddies get, their first companions in the mission field, right? And then, and where they're going. And I remember getting my first area, right? Called Villa El Salvador, and the area was Villa Alejandro, right? And I remember, man, my companion, he was American, right? He was from California, Elder Ashcroft. He's Jordan Ashcroft. He's a cool guy, and man, he must have had some serious patience, because I don't know how he put up with me. I was such a prideful, person. I still am. Anyways, I remember I asked him, I'm like, hey man, if you had to say one thing about, if you could, define our area in a few words, what would you say? And he's like, man, our area is the toilet of the mission, or the armpit. I can't remember which one he said, the armpit or the toilet of the mission, because it stinks, right? And this is like, I served in two very, very, very poor areas, and this was, I'm not sure if this was the poorest area I served in, or the third area I served in was the poorest. I would say this was the second, right? Because they had electricity, they had, pretty good stuff, right? So, in this first transfer I was with him, we were in this little apartment, right, with two other missionaries. We had, I can't remember his name. I remember, I called him Gordo. We always made fun of each other. What's his name? I know I had Elder Vasquez, and man, I have to look at my journal. Anyways, we had the funnest times, and we had this one lady that would cook us lunch and dinner, right, during the weekdays, and she's called a pensionista, and we'd call her Mamita. Oh man, dude, she cooked some good food. Man, she cooked some real good food. It was amazing. I remember this is when I had my first birthday in the mission. I knew something was up, because I heard that, during your birthday, people crack eggs on your head and they throw flour on you and stuff. I knew something was up, right? I got out of the shower, and everybody was around. Everybody was looking at me like, oh, you got it coming, Brian. You got it coming, Elder Van Dyne. You got it coming for you, right? And they swore up and down, oh, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. Man, as soon as I sat down on my bed, I remember I had my underwear on, and I was getting ready to put my shirt on. Now, I think I was tying my tie, right? One of the elders jumped off the other bunk bed and slam dunked the egg right in the top of my head. Oh. And then they all just started bombing me with eggs in my head. And, man, it was a mess. I got egg everywhere. It was dripping down my shirt. It was in my drawer. You know, this is a Peruvian, kind of a Peruvian tradition, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna cut the video off right there with the egg all over my head, and I'll explain more in the next part. So yeah, see you later.